Well, hello there. Welcome to Tuesday morning, 10 with Tom. It's good to see everybody this morning, but actually I can't see you. It's dark. I don't like the dark. When I was growing up, we always had lights on all the time. We had gas lamps in our yard, which kept the light on all night long. We had street lights, which kept the lights on all night long. So it never really got dark in my neighborhood. And so I didn't ever experience what darkness was like until right before my senior year in college. I had gone away to work at a camp, and while I was at camp, or before the camp season started, I went up early and was working on the ground crew. Now everybody on the ground crew lived in the area except for me. So they put me up in a lodge, and I was the only person living in camp. So I had access to a giant kitchen where I was cooking meals for one. It was kind of a weird feeling, but every night I'd lock myself in and go to bed. I'll leave a light on all night. And so it was just wasn't still getting used to dark. But then the rest of the counseling staff showed up. And once they got there, we would meet in this lodge where I had been staying. And then we would go back to the main camp where we were now staying during our training. And so we had our meeting one night, and when the meeting was over, the camp director said to me, "Hey Tom, since you have the keys and you know how to lock up, when everybody leaves, make sure the building's all locked up and secured, and then you can head on over." Well, that was all well and good, except when I stepped outside and all the lights in the lodge were off, I was now in the woods. It was pitch black, and for the first time in my life, I was looking at darkness. It was a darkness so thick that I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face. And so I did what any normal 20-year-old would do. I screamed at the top of my lungs, "Somebody come back and find me." And a couple of counselors came back, and they found me, and they took me by the hand, and they started to guide me on the quarter-of-a-mile trip back to camp, because I'd have never made it by myself because I couldn't see anything. And so darkness is something that we oftentimes are afraid of. We don't like that feeling of not knowing what else is out there. And, Jesus, when he came, said, "I am the light of the world." And Jesus, when we follow his teachings, he's showing us how to live in light, where we don't have to worry about darkness. But he also encouraged us by saying, "And you are the light of the world. If you're one of my followers, you too are lighting the way for others." And so that's important for us to remember, that we are the light of the world as well. Now, having said all of that, we're going to do something here. There we are. Now, hopefully you can see me and I can see you. Well, I can't see you now, but I know hopefully that you're out there. But now we don't have to fear the darkness, because in Christ we walk in the light and we shine the light of Jesus to others. And so I want to encourage you to be doing that, to be that light to other people. And as we do that, we don't have to fear darkness. Now, I will say that the rest of that summer was a pretty incredible experience. I'm sure you'll be hearing other stories down the road about my summer as a camp counselor up in the woods of central Pennsylvania. But we had some good times. Part of our staff training involved painting a giant swimming pool. Now, I don't know if you've ever painted a swimming pool or not, but painting a swimming pool is like the exact opposite of being in the dark. We started early in the morning. We all had paint rollers, and we had the same kind of paint that they use on roads, like traffic paint, road paint. And so they told us ahead of time, if you get it on you, it's going to be really hard to get off, because it is designed to stay on you. And so we start rolling it out, and of course, when you're using a roller, the extra paint is just kind of floating all over the place, and you end up getting little blotches of paint all over you. Well, the one thing that a lot of us hadn't thought about ahead of time was that when you are using white paint on a sunny day, you're basically in a cooker, because the sun, as it comes down, hits that white paint, and it reflects off the white paint, And so now you're not only getting the sun from above, but you're now getting it off the reflection of all the whiteness that's in there. And so by the end of the day, we were all pretty much toast. We all got burned pretty good. The camp director rewarded us by taking us all out to a really, really nice dinner. But there were two things that were involved with the paint that were kind of odd. Number one was as the paint dried and you had these little specks of white paint all over you, you'd start picking them off with your fingers. And every time you'd pick one off, it would leave a mark on your skin where your skin wasn't burned. So wherever the paint was, you were fine. Wherever the paint wasn't, you had gotten pretty well sunburned. So that was kind of funny. The other thing was, when you're painting all day, every now and then you'll roll the roller across your feet. And of course we're painting in our bare feet, and the stuff gets on your toes. Well, road paint does not come off of nails very easily. And so basically what happened for a lot of us that summer was our nails were painted white, our toenails were painted white at the beginning of the summer, and it wasn't until our nails grew out, little by little, we were able to clip off the paint, but it was probably the entire summer before all of the white paint was gone. So very, very interesting time, just another fun time at camp. But during that time, my faith certainly grew a lot, and learned more about what it meant to live in the light of Christ. And so I just encourage you to walk that way. The other thing we've been talking about for the month of July, the fact that the month of July has 31 days, the book of Proverbs has 31 chapters, and so we've been encouraging people to read a chapter every day. And so we hope you've been doing that. We should have finished chapter 6 yesterday. We're in chapter 7 today. And as I was looking back on the first few chapters, one of the verses that really has meant a lot to me through the years comes from Proverbs chapter 3. It's verses 5 and 6. And it says this: "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." And that, to me, is so timely in this discussion of darkness and light. When we trust in the Lord with all of our heart and lean not on our own understanding, when we're on our own, we're often in the dark because we don't have all the facts. We don't know everything, even though sometimes we think we do. But we're really left to ourselves, and that can be a dark and dangerous place. But when we trust in the Lord with all of our might, when we trust God for everything that we need, we're not walking in darkness. We're walking in his light, just as we shared earlier. And so trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Follow the light, okay? And lean not on your own understanding. Don't allow yourself to trudge off into the darkness, okay? But in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. The journey that we take in life sometimes seems to be kind of crazy, but when we're following God and we're trusting in him, he's leading us on the path that we need to go. He's like those counselors who come back for us and take us by the hand and guide us safely to where we need to be. So let that be an encouragement to you. I would love to hear your favorite verses from these first 7 chapters of Proverbs that hopefully you've read by the end of today. And we'll continue trudging through Proverbs 1 chapter a day, and we'll be talking more about that Wednesday night at youth group at Refresh, and of course on Sunday nights as well. And so keep plugging away. Now, the last thing I just want to remind everybody, we've got a game day today. Our friends from Reverb Youth will be joining us. They had a beach day scheduled for today, but because of the weather that's expected, they decided to cancel that, and they're going to come join us for game day. So we're going to go and have a good time. We start in a little less than an hour, so we'll be there from 10 this morning until 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then we've got another game day on Thursday. And so if you get a chance, join us. If you can't join us for game days, hope to see you at Refresh tomorrow night. Will's going to be sharing with us, and so you'll want to be a part of that. And if we don't see you for that, hopefully we'll see you on Sunday for Bible study or for youth group. But keep the light on, keep following Jesus, walk in his light. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.